This is the second small group discussion with J. Krishnamurti in London, 1967.
Shall we talk about this morning? I hope you don't mind if I take my coat off. You know, so hot already.
Sir, I have a rather complicated question. It's not complicated, it requires some explanation. May I speak for 2 minutes?
Please, as long as you like.
Maybe it's just to try and see if I've understood something or not. Science recently has told us that that there is a unity in the universe. Atoms, molecules, and so forth. And the ancient texts, the Hindu, the Vedic, and so forth, they've always spoken of the unity of life and all things. And then all religions of the world, not only Hindu, Vedic, all religions, have always said that the emphasis of self is the denial of unity. And they've gone through this at length. And since you began talking, in the early 30s, for instance, you spoke of transcending the self. And then at other times you went into understanding or transcending craving and desire. And then you went into realizing that the thinker and the thought are one, and thought being the product of thinker being the product of thought and the result of past experiences and so forth. Then you went into the seer and the seen. And then you went into the experiencer and the experience, and the center and the periphery. I'm just going briefly.
Right, I understand.
And then you saying freedom being when there is no center. And then you went into the observer and the observed, beauty being when there is no observer. And then you're now in thought as the image maker and the image. And it seems that the only possibility of understanding or transcending self is through self-knowledge, as you've said over and over, and all these other religions have too. Is it right to say that in watching every desire, every thought, every gesture, everything that you do or say, gradually or maybe instantly, you will see through the mechanisms of self? And in seeing through the mechanisms of self, there's a possibility of unity or immensity or freedom. Now, my question is, could we discuss self-knowledge in relationship to this summing up?
Does anybody else want to ask? Or should we discuss that or something else?
I'd like just to ask you how one can come to self-knowledge without a teacher, a school, or a system.
Anything else?
I'm unable to stop thinking about improper ways some people have treated me. This has badly affected my sleep and work. I'm rather full of rage or hatred, if you like, and I'm just worked up. See? Medicine has failed to be of any use. I have used all sorts of pills, etc. My mind is not steady and keeps on wandering, and because of this I'm unable to pay any attention either to work or to any talks or anything else. I don't know what I should do.
Last week we got as far as, if there is no observer observing, what is the observant?
Can we take all this and go through all that? Shall we? So can anyone teach me about myself? To answer your question, is there any system which, if I followed, will help me to reveal myself? Is there any guru, teacher, psychologist, and so on, will they show me the intricacies and subtleties of my own ways of life, ways of thinking, hidden motives, and so on? Can anybody outside an agency, teach me anything about myself? Here we are. That's what we are doing, aren't we? Here we are. Can I help you or you help me to know about myself? I can point out certain facts, but those facts one can discover for oneself very easily if one pays attention. And after discovering those facts, one can go very, very, very deeply into them. But the whole process surely must be yours, not mine. If it was mine and you merely followed, you're just a follower. You wouldn't understand yourself. Or if there was a system which you followed, repeated, imitated, conformed to that system, you would still be in the same position. Or if you took a pill, LSD, various forms of drugs, would that help you to understand yourself? To understand oneself, it seems to me, and it is necessary to understand oneself, because oneself is this whole psychological structure of society. I think that's fairly clear. To know oneself, one has to study oneself, one's reactions, one's speech, one's gestures, the motives, the whole tricks. As I am. Is that simple, sir? Can we take that and start from there?
Yes, when I'm meeting someone to tell me this, please point out the kind of things that I should be looking for.
Now, wait, I'll show it to you. Wait, sir, I'll show you. Look out for the limitation of thought. I point out to you that. What happens?
You can't hear anything.
You can't hear. May I sit higher up? All right. What shall I do? Sit on that. So, shall we go into this question, which you raised, sir? How to study oneself? That comes to that. How to uncover the whole network of myself. Because as he said just now with the first question, the self is very limited, small. Which one can see? Mesquin, shoddy little thing, which perpetually like a monkey acting. Now, how am I going to learn about myself? Right? Can we start with that? Can I look at myself afresh, as though I'm starting anew? I can't, because I have already various forms of conclusions about myself. I condemn myself. I judge myself. I am guilty. I am afraid. I have various values. All these prevent me from looking at myself. Or all these are myself. I don't know if... Am I making myself clear? I am conditioned as a Hindu, Catholic, communist, and so on. I am conditioned. And that very conditioning is the self. Obviously, there is no higher self and a lower self. There is only this conditioning, which is me. Now, how am I to study it? Shall I take time to study it? Is time involved in the sense gradually I learn about myself? I don't know if you're... Or is there a way of learning, seeing myself completely in which time element is not involved at all? I don't know if you're...
Is this not seeing the condition, the unconditioned?
No, sir. Just wait. Don't. Look, I am conditioned as a Hindu, as a Brahmin, as I was and my reputation. I'm all that. To understand all that, is time necessary? That time being, day after day, bit by bit, I learn about myself. I don't know if you're... See what is involved in that process. If I learn about myself bit by bit, there are other parts of me which are adding more and more and more. I don't know if you see that. It's like not knowing what my left hand is doing while I'm watching my right hand all the time. And we have been conditioned to believe that time is necessary to understand oneself. Right? Gradually. I study what I am today, I learn a bit about myself, tomorrow I little know more about myself, and so on and on and on and on and on. Till I know about myself completely, I don't know when. Right? Now, is that right? What is involved in it? Do you understand my question, sir?
Excuse me, but there is a tremendous residue that does not show itself all at once.
Wait, we'll go into that. Here I am, a whole bundle of memories, conditions, various dogmas, beliefs, assumptions, conclusions, hopes, fears, opinions. I'm all that. As a Hindu, as non-Hindu, Catholic, and so on, so on. Hidden as well as open. Now, will it take time to study all that? Bit by bit, gradually. If it takes time, that is gradually, it is an endless process. I'll be dead before I know all about myself. Right? So there must be a different way altogether. Right? You follow, sir? Huh? Can we go in? So I discard the time element altogether. Because that's one of my conditioning. I've been taught from childhood, do it gradually study. You learn about yourself more and more and more. Then one day you will know yourself totally. By then I'll be an old man. By then I'll have no capacity, no energy. Various incidents, accidents, happenings will take place which will distort. Which are all the time taking place. So there must be a different approach altogether. Right? Right, sir? So, have I discarded that? Not verbally, actually said, no, I won't follow the way of gradualness. And that means I've already abandoned the old way of thinking. So in what way can I look at myself which will reveal totally immediately? Right? I don't know, you understand what am I making my question clear? If I do not look to the gradual process in which I will begin to understand myself, which is absolutely idiotic, stupid, there is no value at all, then I have only the other thing left, that to understand oneself must be immediate and total. Right? Either that or this. No middle way. I can't mix both and find a new middle way, because one contradicts the other. Right, sir?
Excuse me.
Go ahead, sir, interrupt me.
No, you admitted, and we said that there is a tremendous residue of all kinds of motives, hidden desires, all that there. That does not show itself at one time. I think psychology has proven that we only think one thought at a time, or one motive, or one desire at a time. So if we throw out time, we can just look at one thing at a time.
No, I'm going to show you something. First, can I actually, not theoretically, verbally, discard this whole idea of gradualness? Say, for example, I do yoga. I have been doing it for a number of years. When I began, the body's muscles weren't soft enough, supple enough. It took time to make the body supple to do proper yoga. There, time is involved. I do not know Italian, I'm learning it, but it'll take time. I do not know mathematics, it'll take time. I do not know any technology, and so on. Time at a certain level is necessary. I can't do without it. But here, is time important at all? Then if time is not necessary, then how shall I know how to look at it? You get my point, sir? At least, is my question clear? If I do not admit the way of time, then what have I left?
That's the problem.
Find out, sir. What have you left if you say, I will do it tomorrow?
It's putting it off.
What takes place? If there is no tomorrow, what actually takes place?
Immediate contact.
Huh?
Immediate contact with the fact.
Immediate contact with the fact. But you have innumerable facts. I'm envious, greedy, fearful, anxious, guilty, and so on, so on. These are all various facts. Huh? Please listen to all this. You're not following this carefully. If I have no time at all, and looking at fragments, one after the other, involves time.
Then it's not a process of examination.
I said so. I said, if we examine one by one, it'll take time. Right? You understand? Huh? No, sir, you do it. Do it. If you have no tomorrow, what will you do? No tomorrow in which you are going to learn more about yourself. There is no tomorrow. Or the next minute.
Then is it a question of a sudden insight into the whole process of the...
What takes place in you, sir? Don't ask me. I'll tell you presently. What actually takes place when you admit no time at all? That is, you have no time to examine the fragments. Please follow that. Fragments which make the whole. The spokes don't make the whole, the wheel. Right? So the spokes are not important, but the wheel is important. You can add afterwards. Right? You're following all this? So you can see the totality of yourself. No? What's that?
Is there anything to see?
Wait. I'm not going to answer ahead. You must go step by step, otherwise you'll miss it.
Because if there's no tomorrow, the totality of everything, it is a detail, it's so trivial, it doesn't exist anymore.
Therefore, what exists? So the difficulty with us is tomorrow is tremendously important. Tomorrow exists. I will learn more, I will do that, I will become, I will be more beautiful, I will be more wise. For us, time is of tremendous significance. And can I discard that time entirely? And if I do, then I have no time to examine the fragments. There's no time for analysis.
How can we ignore time if we're so conditioned to think of it?
Huh?
How can we ignore time if we're so conditioned to think in terms of...
That's what I said. We are so conditioned we can't think outside of time.
How can we ignore?
I'm going to show you in a minute. So that is one of our greatest bondages, time. Right? That I will experience something if I take this pill. So can I not think at all in terms of time? Huh?
When we suddenly understand something,
Ah,
see something, it's
don't,
like a time.
no, don't say what you're going to do before you have done it.
What?
And no, you can't do it.
Isn't that the same as saying, can we think without time? Thinking is time.
That's it. Moment you think you're brought into being time. No?
Yes.
Right? So, thought being old, the consequence is what? You are still thinking and therefore creating time, which necessitates that you examine each fragment bit by bit, which thought has broken up as anger, violence. I don't know if you're following all this. So, thought is time, agree? See it? Time being the old, as thought is old. Now, can thought come to an end? Huh? Otherwise, I still function within the field of time.
There's a second question that you've asked.
Oh, sir?
The first question was what I'm going to do about the totality of myself. The question is now whether
you're going to find out what you're going to do about the totality of yourself.
is it right anymore?
I mean, no, don't move, sir. Don't go to that yet. Which is, first we said, nobody can teach me about myself. First. Second, I am conditioned to think in terms of time, gradualness. Right? And what is this gradualness? How does that come about? Thought has said to itself, I must examine each fragment, change each fragment, modify it, sublimate it, suppress it. All that involves time. So, thought is time. And can I look at myself without thought?
You said the other day that it was necessary to have self-knowledge in order to do this.
I did. This is part of self-knowledge. I'm learning about myself tremendously. Part of myself, which is self, is that I've thought about, I'll do it gradually. I learn about myself very slowly, gradually, adding more and more and more. That's one of the basic movements of myself, and I'm learning about it. And I say, by Jove, that's my conditioning, right? I don't know if you're...
As soon as you say that, though, it's an idea.
Of course. So, but I see it is conditioning. So, thought breeds time, and time does not bring an understanding of myself. Full stop. Can I move from there? If it does not bring in understanding about myself, thought is not the way at all. Therefore, what have I left? I don't know, you don't do. Can I look at myself without thought? Right? And if there is no thought about myself, what is there to look? Wait, that's just it. You understand, sir? May we attack it in a different way? How do you want to think about this?
It shows how tricky communication is, because I've heard this many times. Can I look at myself without thought? And I walk out of the room saying it or thinking it. Can I look at myself without thought? And it is thought. And
Of course.
waiting for results. So let's begin right from the beginning. That is, can I look at anything without thought? You follow, sir? The tree, the cloud, the woman, the man. Look. Can I? Can you? Have you ever experimented when you are walking along, just to look at something without a movement of thought? Have you? The looking is the active present, right? Thought is old. So when thought interferes with that looking, you have a screen which prevents you from looking. So one discovers that ideas are much more important than the fact of looking. Right? For us, ideas are extraordinarily important. No?
Yes, they keep me in my familiar world.
Yes. The Marx world, the world of the priest, ideas, beliefs, which are all superstitions, not facts. So is it possible for the mind and the eye, the organism, to look without thought? Here I am, a whole bundle of memories, my conditioning, my fears, hopes, hidden and obvious. I am all that. And I say, I'm going to study it. I am going to look into it. I am going to analyze it, which is all the process of thinking. No? Thought is the instrument with which I am looking. And a thought has broken up the whole of me into fragments, as fear, anxiety, guilt, love, hate. So thought cannot possibly reveal myself as I am. I don't know, totally. So then the question is, can thought come to an end? Thought is necessary to go from here to the place I live, to the job, technologically and so on. But with regard to this, can thought come to an end? Don't let's complicate it. Can you look at something without thought?
Sometimes you make a discovery which is outside thought.
Beg pardon?
Sometimes you make a discovery which is outside thought. But thought immediately takes hold of it.
I know, but that's what we're asking. Can the mind and the eye, the physical organism, look without the interference of thought, which means, can thought come to an end? To find out whether thought come to an end, I must be aware, I must find out the beginning of thought, mustn't I? Huh? I don't know if you're... the origin. Right, sir? I don't know if you...
What do you mean by the origins?
Look, sir, I want to know how thought begins. The original thought, not the immediate thought when you hit me or flatter me.
Genesis.
Huh?
Genesis.
Genesis. The origin, the beginning of thought.
Seed.
The seed, all right. Any word you understand?
Yeah. It seems that is a fairly simple question.
Ah.
No,
No,
you
sir.
see something. You're taught as a child that's a microphone. Gradually you associate the word with
Yes,
the thing.
but go behind that, much further. How did thought begin?
Well, you don't think without words, so before that...
So, what made you think in words?
As a child, I went to school and they taught
Yes,
me.
go... Why? Through words. Word is thought.
Word is thought.
But you haven't found out the beginning, the genesis, the origin of thought.
It seems that thought starts before the word because
Yes.
it's a sort of some
Word I use to communicate. Word, or the word creates the thought, and so on. I want to know, before all this begins, how thought... Surely this is simple.
I think it would seem that one sees something or one moves towards it either physically or internally, and then one might restrain oneself if it's a movement, and then comes the word, one puts it into a word in order to handle this thing, to use
May I suggest something much simpler than all this? Look, I want to find out the origin of thought. I want to find out what love is. I want to find out what beauty is. Not what people say about beauty. I want to find out. Now, how do I find out about anything, about these things?
You look.
Huh? I look. Now, how do I look?
You can't look with previous thought, or you're just in the same thing.
Therefore, what do?
You look without thought.
Which means what? Go on, sir, go on. Proceed.
Watching without the intrusion of any thought.
Yes, sir, what takes place?
Without memory, without any...
Yes, sir, you're repeating the same thing.
If there's no thought, I'm not there.
Huh?
If there's no thought, then I'm not there.
No, but there is something.
So it's fine.
There is an experience.
No. It's not like... So, look. To look at that microphone, if I say that's a microphone, then I'm not looking at it. To look at that, my mind must be fairly quiet. Huh? Right?
Yes.
So I can look at something clearly only when my mind is silent. So, the origin of thought can be discovered only when the mind is completely quiet. Right?
Isn't it slightly expected?
No, I see that I can understand anything only when the mind is quiet. There is no expectancy. I can't see you if I have prejudice against you. So, can I rid myself of prejudice?
It seems so strange because it takes the mind to discover this thing that you're talking
But
about.
I do. I have the mind. I don't discard the mind.
But you use the mind in...
There is no using the mind. You see? So look.
I don't see, but to even talk about it, it's using thoughts.
But that's only to convey. Of course, let's...
The origin of thought. For instance, I look without thought. There's nothing taking place.
What happens, sir? Look, you have seen something that you can only see out of silence. Right? It's only, there is beauty only when there is silence. Or love. Right? There it is. In that silence, is there any thought? Any movement of the me and the self and all the rest of it? Obviously not. So proceed.
But then a thought comes into your mind. Does that mean you're looking at the origin of a thought? It comes through association or something else?
The thing is, what we are saying is, the origin of anything can be discovered only out of silence. In which there is no projection of any kind. I don't know if you've...
So I can follow your words, but...
well, to do it, of course.
Still the noise.
Yeah, of course. That's why I said, have you ever experimented with looking at a tree? Very simple, objective fact. The other is much more complex, subjectively, inwardly. But outwardly, can I look at you without any prejudice, without any thought? You want to hit me, you want to cuss me out, you want to persuade me, you want to tell me what I should do, and so on, so on. And can I look at you and listen out of complete silence?
It seems that all this takes energy,
Yes.
some sort of exertion, because when I've tried this myself, and I've tried to get out there where I can look at something, to step out to look at something, that all the associations, the previous ones, come showering back and put me back right where I was before. And that it's a thing of fatigue, almost, at least initially for me, or when I tried to do this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what do you do?
Yes.
Battle? Fight? Because you want to achieve a result? Or let them all come in. And watch them all come in. Right? Watch them all coming in. So what is important? Not what comes in, but watching.
The thing is, even the watching takes energy.
Of course. To live takes energy. To do anything takes energy.
And it seems when I'm trying even to watch thoughts and so forth, that this takes a tremendous amount of energy.
Of course. So I have to learn about energy. Where it is necessary, where it is not necessary. What dissipates energy, which is conflict. contradiction. So now I say, by Jove, what is important is to find out my contradictions. Can I see those contradictions immediately, all of them, not bit by bit? I don't.
Sir, could you say it this way, that the mind is the computer that has a very limited amount of knowledge and experience in it? It looks at life with this very limited, very constricted knowledge, and therefore it sees just like a little flashlight looking around.
Oh, quite.
But when we look without all this constricted knowledge, then it's about the immensity, or you look
Of course,
enormously.
obviously. But that's just a theory.
Just theory.
And theories are no good. So is it possible to do it, you see? And you do, and when you are hungry, when you are demanding sexually, when you are doing something, you do it. There is not all this thinking, arguing, discussing. Now, let's find out what prevents one from doing this, right? I see very clearly this must be done. This is the way to live. Reason points it out. Everything points this is the way to live. And yet I don't do it. Why? Huh?
Commitments.
Come on.
Commitments that you have set up by...
Commitments. Go into it, sir. Go into it. Is that what is really preventing you?
Fear as well.
Is that what is really preventing one? Go into it, sir.
Maybe habits or
Question yourself. If you don't do it, you are deteriorating, aren't you? Huh? Right? You see this is right. Right. I'm using that very quickly and casually. You see this is the way to live. And yet you don't do it. Huh? When you know this is the way and don't do it, then you are obviously deteriorating. And you want to deteriorate. No?
there seems to be a mechanical, habitual self, just in the physical sense alone, which wants to keep the little pleasures it has, coffee, tea, and whatever it is.
Yes, sir, those are little, I understand. But we're talking of much deeper, at a deeper level. Just take, sir, this factor of deterioration. I see something and I don't do it.
Sorry, I don't think one sees it. I think if one really saw it deep...
But I'm saying that. I see smoking is bad. Bad, quotes. Why don't I say, all right, finished?
It seems to me that if one sees it...
No, not if.
Yes,
And
no,
then,
not if. I can't put it properly.
One really doesn't see the devastating effects of living in the way that we were talking
Why
about.
don't you see it? I don't want to live the way the ordinary, civilized, cultured, sophisticated, that kind of society, I don't want to live that way. It's stupid. And why do I go on?
Lack of serious attention.
Huh?
Lack of serious attention.
Yes. Is that was the case with you? No, when you say that, it becomes a theory.
Let's say completely.
I see I must go north, and I keep on going south. The obvious fact is that I don't see I have to go north, and then why don't I see it? What is preventing me from seeing it? Here we are discussing an hour, and yet we don't see this very simple fact that unless I go north, the factor of deterioration, destruction is, I am caught in it.
Looks like laziness, but is it?
Is it?
That's what it looks like to me.
Or what, sir?
Habit again.
Or go into it, sir, a little more. Don't.
Not wanting.
That's it. Be simple about it. Most of us don't want to, because we are very comfortable.
Yes.
We've got a house, a wife, children, a responsibility. They're caught in that, and we say, "For God's sake, what will happen if you follow?" So that's one factor. The other factor is we want to be sure. That's all, sir.
So it goes back again to self-knowledge. Why are you caught in pleasure? Why are you caught in
That's
habit?
it,
Why are
you're
you-
back again. So you say, unless I learn about myself completely, and I can only learn about myself immediately, timely. Unless I do that, I'm destroying. Not only myself, I'm destroying everybody.
I still haven't seen how or under what conditions I can know myself completely, not in time and without thought.
You can know yourself completely when you're silent. And when you are really not induced silence, not waiting for something to happen during which there is an interval of silence, but completely silent, there is nothing to look. The noise has stopped. I don't know if you see this.
I do see.
The noise of the mind, which has been thinking about itself, its hopes, its fears, its anxieties, all that has come to an end. And therefore there is no observer at all. Then what happens is something which cannot be put into words. That's only just the beginning of it, you understand, sir? What is it that makes us, what is the factor that brings deterioration in us? I see people whom I have known for 40 years. What has happened to them? How they've gone to pieces. Drink, women, all the rest of it. Conflict, everlasting battle. And I say, wow, what is the factor in all this? You understand? I think the major factor, probably the only factor, is that there is no beauty in us. There is beauty in the building, in the sky, in the tree, in the... but there is no beauty inside. Right? If there is no beauty, then how are you going to get it? Then we are back again. Right, sir?
There's no beauty inside because it's cluttered with thought, desire,
All the rest of it.
But when there's emptiness, there's a possibility.
Yes, sir. So, why haven't you got it? Why isn't there? Why isn't the seed of that beauty there? That is, why isn't the seed of love, affection there, which is beauty? I hate to use that word love, it's so stupid. It has become so ugly. Why haven't you got it, sir?
Because we're trying to get it.
Oh no, you can't get it.
Yeah, but that creates the emptiness.
So what will you do? You can't commit suicide. What will you do? Join the hippies? Join the church which talks everlasting about love? And encourage him to kill others at the same time?
It is there, though, isn't it?
Huh?
It is there. I mean, there is this beauty in people.
In people, but not. I don't know. I don't know if they. It's not my concern. You may have it to a marvelous extent. I don't know. But I see people. Why haven't I got it? Why isn't there this thing flowering in me? If it doesn't, the obvious result is deterioration, both physical, mental, emotional, So what am I to do? I haven't got it, and I see logically, healthily, sanely, everything says you must have it, otherwise you're gone. And it's not a theory, I must have it, as I must have food. So what am I to do? I don't think it's such an urgent thing with you, that's what I'm... And who is going to stop you, sir? Nobody is interested enough to stop you. They want you want you to go in the same direction because they're all going that way. What, sir? Yes, do it.
that silence is the starting point, the only possibility?
No. I can't come to that silence by talking about it. I have to, it comes into being when I go through all, you follow, self and all the rest of it. Otherwise it's just an empty word. And I'm fed up with words. I can't live on words. I mean, like the word God. You follow? I can't live on the word God. It has no meaning. So I must find out.
It's a vicious circle.
No, madam, it's not a vicious circle at all. We have broken the vicious circle.
How can I be more concerned for myself at the same time looking for myself?
No, we said that to be self-concerned is to be very concerned about oneself, very small circle. But to see that self-concern is not important and open the door, we've been through all that.
That needs a new concern.
No, just open the door. If you are concerned about opening the door, you never open the door. But if you say, well, I must go and open the door, you open the door.
This a crucial issue in our lives. We come here for an hour of a talk, we go home, or we do something else for our jobs. It seems everything else seems to contradict what we're listening to. Right
Absolutely. So because this is not important. I don't want to live in the filthy air of London. I will break through it. I'll get out, run, do anything. In the same way, I see this way of living is really most destructive and deteriorating. I stop. I don't want to live that way. I don't argue, discuss what will happen. I just do it and see what happens. Stop, I think it's got past 12, don't you?